Flosstube, I'm Pam. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. And this is Flosstube number, 70 something, maybe? I forgot to check. It is my first official normal weekly update Flosstube of the year though. I filmed a whip parade like a week and a half ago, but I have not filmed an actual weekly update since the start of the year. I have notes. Actually, I don't have notes. What I have is the 2023 book of days, in which I had all intention of putting stickers in and making really cute, but all I've really done is keep track of my stitching on every day. I'm gonna give away one of these at the end of the video, if I remember, because that's the way my brain works. So stay tuned for that. And so I have my notes of what I've been stitching. If you are finding me for the first time, I can be a little rambly and disorganized. I apologize. This is a channel where I talk about cross stitch. I talk about the things I've been stitching. I talk about my store, Stitch New England. I talk about birds that feed at my bird feeders in my backyard because I love birds. What else do I talk about? I go off on rambly tangents. I think that's it. I think those are all the things I talk about. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. I can already feel like it might be a bit of a disorganized mess. Life updates. It's winter. It's a really actually kind of a warm January for where I live in Rhode Island. And that's it. Mostly my whole life is revolving around the store right now. We are taking registrations for our first retreat in October of this year. You can find information about the retreat on the store's website. stitchnewengland.com, but I always have the information down in the description box. And so that's been taking up a lot of my time. And our first month, the shop is offering a Fabric of the Month club with Atomic Ranch fabric, and the first shipment is going out this week, so there's a lot of work involved in that as well. That has been taking up my time. And then I've been stitching, so much stitching. So let's jump into what I've been stitching. My New Year, New Start this year, I had a request. Oh shoot, I had another request and I forgot it. Next time. I had told someone, I apologize if I forgot your name. My brain is like a sieve. It's amazing that I remember anything. To show my tail tucker and what it does. I'll remember that for next time. And then somebody had mentioned if I could focus, show my project bags a little bit more. I'll be honest though, I don't mostly remember where I get my project bags. I haven't bought any in a while. This one though, that my New Year New Start is in, was made for me from my friend Dawn Marie from DM's Crafty Vortex, and she does not sell them. So, but it is lovely, a lovely project bag. Anyway, my New Year New Start was Primitive Hair's Wheel of the Year. I'm feeling torn on it. Myself and one of the gals, Laura, who stitches in my shop on Wednesday evenings, we both did it as a New Year, New Start. She's a lot farther along than me, but she started in a different section. I didn't get a very large start because I was missing a few colors, and it's very confetti heavy, and I didn't want to move on from this area without getting those colors that I still need and putting them in. It's stitched on 30 count, I haven't even shown what I stitched yet, 30 count white Stardust linen by the Primitive Hair. And I'm gonna warn you, it's sparkly. And not just the fabric is sparkly, but everywhere that you stitch it becomes sparkly, and the air becomes sparkly, and a layer of sparkle dust settles on everything. So if you like that sort of thing, this is the fabric for you. Anyway, this is where I got so far. So not a whole bunch. I'll get it up close. not a whole lot is finished. I center started, so that's like this section right here. It's gonna be a big one. Why I'm torn on it. So the picture is a watercolor. So this is a watercolor painting that was converted to cross stitch. And I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the conversion. My friend, Laura, who's stitching it, started up here. And I don't know if you can see, but there are red berries up in that holly. The conversion doesn't have red berries, so it's just like a lot of dark. You also don't get all of that like wispy that's happening. It's a very chunky conversion, if that makes sense. A lot of the details are not showing up. I'm almost going to see how hers progresses before I decide how much time I'm putting into mine. Because it is going to take most of the, like, it's going to be really large. I want to love it though, because I love the picture. So that was my New Year, New Start. I worked on that for a few hours on the 1st. And, oh, the other thing I want to say about it is the key. Most of the colors over here, like most of these colors, are in that weird, they're all DMC, but they're in that weird like 3880 to 3890 range, which those skeins, I think that you can get them on 123 Stitch right now, but you can't like walk into Michael's or Joann's or my shop. I can't wholesale order those. They were part of a limited edition kit from DMC, and now you can buy them from DMC, but they're not readily available. So I like to forewarn everyone before you jump into a chart on possible like mishaps, slip-ups, stumbling blocks. I don't know what I'm saying, but I really want to love that. So I'm hoping, and maybe I just say the art to cross stitch conversion is okay, and I'm just gonna, because I love the art, or maybe I just buy the art. A print, I don't know. And then I still had lots of stitching time left on the 1st. So my 2023 plans, I keep forgetting we're in 2023. My 2023 plans are to rotate through my, I should probably rotate through my whips in progression of start dates. So my whip list looks like this. This is the 2023 whip list. This is my one whip that's still left from 2020. These are 2021 whips. These are 2022 whips. These are my couple starts from 2023. So my plan is to cycle through. I have to touch, when it's that whip's turn, I have to touch it for, I don't know, a few hours. But I can keep stitching it for as long as I want. I don't have to stop. There's no like stop time. But when I'm bored or I finish, I move on to the next whip. Does that make sense? So the second one on my whip list after having a New Year, New Start was a year at Hawk Run Hollow, but I knew that I was going to work on that later in the week because I host a Hawk Run Hollow Zoom the 1st? No, the 2nd. I don't know why I went out of order, but I went out of order and I took out the second one on my list. And it is The Celtic Tree of Life by Artisty Cross Stitch. It currently lives, I love this, it currently lives in this project bag by, I forget what, is it Stitch All the Things? Christine Stitch All the Things? It is, I make a Flosstube, but it has, because since I've opened the store, I am all over the place today. Rein it back in, Pam. Since I opened the store in November of 2021, I watched very little Flosstube. Ah, the heat turned off. I don't have to yell. I'm in the store right now, and if you're watching me for the first time, my heat ducts are exposed. Like it's a tin ceiling up there, and it makes the heat very loud. Anyway, and I can't control that. I watch very little Flosstube. because I do cross stitch all day as a job now. I mean, I don't stitch all day, but I'm like immersed in cross stitch, and the last thing I want to do most of the time is go home and watch more Flosstube. Occasionally I get to watch one or two. So I'm pretty sure that this bag was made by Christine from Stitch All the Things. Anyway, I love this bag because of the gnomes, and they kind of look like my husband, who is a little solid, and he's got a beard, and this is the project that he picked out when he decided he was going to learn how to cross stitch, and then decided he didn't want to cross stitch. So it's now my project. So this came out briefly, again, for a few hours on, this is what it looks like right now, on New Year's Day, and I stitched all over here. I worked over here. I came down like this, I think. No, I didn't. I'm lying. I'm totally lying to you. My needle's over here. I worked a little bit over here. That's actually all I did. And that was it. And I'm not going to touch it until it comes back around. I just kind of wasn't in the mood for it. It's not going to be UFO'd because my husband will cry a little bit. But I wasn't feeling it, but I did touch it, and now I've moved on. So then up next, I always have a project I'm working on at the store. And this year I decided that it was going to be one project. Last year in 2022, I did a bunch of smalls, none of which I have fully finished. So this year I decided I'm going to work on one big project at the store. And I decided that was going to be Cottage Garden Stampling's new series, The Snowman Collector. So this is the first pattern. The second one has already been released. It's a clown. I know some people don't love clowns, but it's adorable, and I can't wait till I get to that part. And the third one, the picture, has just been released. It's going to be a shepherd. I don't know what its official name is. I didn't look. I just looked at the picture. But they're sheep. I think he's a shepherd. So anyway, I'm stitching it on 20 count Aida, one strand, and here is where it's at. And I'm really pleased with the progress, considering I only work on it in the store. So if you stitch it all on one piece of fabric, all 12 of the patterns, you can get, there's a border on Cottage Garden Stampling's website. So this white part is not part of the original pattern. It's part of the free border. And so that's where it's at. And it's going to be enormous. On 20 count Aida, come on. Oh, it's stuck to my needle. On 20 count Aida, it's going to take this entire piece of fabric. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. It's so large. It's a lot of fabric wrangling. So that'll come out. I usually stitch at the store on Wednesday nights. We have a stitch group here. And sometimes, occasionally, I get to stitch on it on Saturdays. Saturdays are my busiest day. And so if it's a stitch group day and it's a busy day, the heat's going to come back on. I can't always stitch on it, but it gets touched every Wednesday. All right. Then, Hawkhorn Hollow. I am stitching A Year of Hawkhorn Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. This is another project bag that was made for me by my friend Dawn Marie, but then my friend Sue did put my name on there. I love the inside fabric of this, by the way. So pretty. What was I talking about? A Year of Hawkhorn Hollow. Here's what it's gonna look like when it's done. I am currently working on the April block. My goal this year is to get 3 blocks done, and then 3 blocks done next year, and then I'll be done because I already have 6 done. And I am stitching it on 40 count, picture this plus Heartland, nope, Legacy, with 1 strand, and I have made a ton of progress on the April block. So here, I already had this blue cloud in, but all the house is new since the beginning of the year. It's so good. I'll get you up close. I don't know, or can you see? It's so good. So my goal is to have the April block finished by the first day of spring. I also have a tentative guidelines for new starts. I like to do seasonal starts, like spring, summer, fall, winter. I like to do a new year, new start. I like to do a birthday start. I'm going to try to only start something new if I finish two things. I am counting a block of Hawthorne Hollow as a finish because this looks small, but it's 92 by 92 and it's full. I mean, it's not full coverage, but these blocks have a ton of stitching on them. So I will count each one of those blocks as a finish. So I need to get the April block finished before the first day of spring, and then one other thing finished so that I can have a spring start. I don't know what that other thing will be yet. Okay. And then, hold on, I need a sip of my coffee. It's not like a real coffee. I like the frozen coffees from Dunkin' Donuts, but I don't know that there's actual real coffee in here. But my brain thinks there is, so it's like a placebo thing. I fooled myself. I mean, maybe there is real coffee. I know back in the day there used to be real coffee in there. I'm just not sure that there is anymore. Okay. Then I started my yearly temperature stitch along. This is the 4th year I'm doing one. I do not have a picture. If you are a returning viewer, you know that I was going to do Christie's Corners bird on a wire. I sat down on Sunday the 8th and I was so excited to start, and I got 4 birds in, and I was like, and it's a lovely pattern, but it wasn't for me this year. It was too fiddly. I have so much going on that I need something on Sundays that's just super simple, because each bird had a high and low temp, and I know you could have stitched it all one color, but even if you stitched the bird all one color, it had a little beak and little feet, and you were gonna have to go back and do like a little beak stitch, and it was fiddly, and I just needed something that wasn't fiddly. So maybe it will be next year's chart. So once I decided after 4 birds that this was not going to be the chart for me this year, I got on Etsy and I found one that is going to work for my brain. I think that it's by Zara's Design something or other. I will have the name in the box below. I'll also have a link to the bird on a wire one below, because it's a fantastic chart if you're looking to do a daily temperature stitch along. And if the bird on a wire one isn't for you, Christy has a bunch of others. I did her bookcase last year and that was a lot of fun. So this is what I picked. I'm gonna love this. So it's gonna look like a calendar. And over here on the side, you actually stitch in the key, like the color and what the temp is, which I kind of love. The border is really simple. It's just it's like 10 stitches long of a color. So it's double though. So it's like 20 stitches of a color and then 20 stitches of a color and then 20 stitches. It's super repetitive. The calendar is easy to make. Once the month is done, I will backstitch around all the blocks. So anyway, that's where we are for January so far. Do you see all those greens? That's warm. It's so warm. Those are days that were in the 50s in January in Rhode Island. Not even like Southern Rhode Island. Northern, not that there's a big difference between Southern and Northern Rhode Island. You can get from one end of the state to the other in like an hour. I know for those of you who like live out in those big states like Texas, the idea that like you can get anywhere in the state I live in an hour or under is, you can, and just even living in New England, you can get almost anywhere in New England in like less than 4 hours. So anyway, I'm loving this, loving it. It's exactly what my brain needed. These are just, they're 4x4 blocks. What is that, 16 stitches? It's so easy to do on a Sunday. And normally I don't work a ton of border ahead, but the border is so easy that I'm gonna try to get a lot of it, like a lot of those months, those calendars pre-stitched so that on Sundays I can just stitch my week. It's so much fun. I love tracking my temps. Somebody is calling me. I'm not gonna answer it. Okay. Then I know I just had a whole spiel about how I was going to be super intentional about my new starts, and then I had to finish 2 things before I started one, and then I had an unplanned start because my friend Deborah, I'm gonna take the story back a little bit. I went to a retreat in November, stitching at the farm in Troy, New Hampshire, and at my table was my friend Stephanie, who was stitching a chart that I fell in love with. And unfortunately, it's a chart that's not readily available currently. I assume in the future it will be. But it came out in Teresa Kitten Stitcher's fall box. I think that's where it got released. And my friend Deborah, who was at the table sitting across from me, said that she had gotten the box and did I want to borrow her chart? And I was like, heck yeah. So she had come into the shop. Oh shoot, the postman's here. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna have to edit. Hopefully I do this seamlessly. Okay, so anyway, my friend Deborah said I have the chart. Anyway, here is the chart. I think that's what I was talking about. It is Grimm's Haunt by Plum Street Samplers. Can you even see those crazy pumpkins? That's what I fell in love with. The crazy pumpkins. They're like a little creepy. And I love the cat. He reminds me of my cat Magic that we lost in the summer of 2021. Do you think that, oh, here's another side story. Do you think the cats can be ghosts? I was laying in bed the other night. In the summer of 2021, we lost our 2 older cats, Magic and our other cat, Baby Kitty. And Baby Kitty used to lay on me. He didn't like to be touched or held, but he would lay on you. And he would lay on me at night. The other night, I swear, he was laying on me. I could even like feel him like moving. It wasn't scary though, because it was Baby Kitty. Am I nuts? Does that happen? You let me know. Have you had like pet ghost experiences? Okay, so Grimm's Haunt. I started this because if I am lent a pattern, I don't want it to like languish. Like I don't want to be like, I can't start this till spring, because that's months now that I'm holding on to a pattern that somebody has lent me that I haven't even started. That bothers my brain. Even if it takes me just as long to finish it, I still feel good knowing that I started it. It's not very big. I'm doing it on 36 count American Chestnut by R&R. And this was my start. I've gotten, oh shoot, does that look like it's not gonna match up? We'll see when we get there. I hope that I counted correctly. It might, that might match up in the corner. Oh my God, it might not. I'm gonna ignore that and we're gonna focus up here. This is where I am. That was a couple nights of stitching. 2 evenings. And I'm going to bring it out on the 13th of every month. So it will get to, it's what is it? It's 101 by 92. So it's actually not very much bigger than doing a block on Hawthorne Hollow. So I'm hoping I can get it done in like 6 months and get it back to Deborah, who, by the way, just started a Flosstube, and I will link her below. She's got 2 or 3 out now, and they're good. She's down in Connecticut. So if you like to watch New England Stitchers, she's also multi-craftual, and she actually FFOs her things and they look great. So unlike me, who once I finish stitching, they languish in a pile with all the intention of getting finished and never do. All right, then lastly, the last thing I have stitched this month, it was the next whip in the rotation was the Raining Loreleis by Forbidden Fiber Co. This was a kit that came with like the project bag and the fabric and the floss. I am a huge Gilmore Girls fan, and I discovered two podcasts. I had no idea that there were Gilmore Girls podcasts out there, but there are, and one just started. And so my plan, she releases the podcast every 2 weeks. So my plan is every 2 weeks, I'm going to get this project out and work on it and listen to the podcast. The other podcast, I'll list the names of the podcasts below if you're into the Gilmore Girls. The other podcast is done by Scott Patterson, who is Luke from Gilmore Girls, which is a little bit interesting to me. Okay, so this is being stitched on the called for Forbidden Fiber Co. fabric, and this is where it's at. So last night I finished the words up in this umbrella. It says in omnia paratus, which it's like a Gilmore Girls thing. And then I did that octagon. So I'm like halfway done. I feel like halfway done, maybe a little less. So the next one that's slated to get worked on, I'm really excited to work on this one, is the Nantucket Girls Sampler by Plum Street. So that's what I will be working on tonight and for however long until I get bored of it. And looking at my calendar, it might get worked on tonight all the way till Sunday, possibly longer. We'll see. That was it. That was my stitching. So that brings us to, I'm going to save the shop update for last. We'll do bird update next. I have bird feeders in my backyard. I spend more money at Wild Birds Unlimited these days than I do on cross stitch. It's out of control. I just wanted to give, there's not too much exciting stuff happening at my bird feeder. I did want to give an update though. I think the last time we chatted about birds, I was enthusiastic about my heater that I got for my bird bath. It did not last. So it is what it is. Next year I might try to just get a heated bird bath instead of getting an extra something to put in the bird bath. It worked while it worked, if that makes sense. And then we had a good rainstorm, and I knew one of the reviews was that if the connector gets wet, like where you plug it into your extension cord, it will short the whole system and then it won't work. And I haven't gone downstairs to like redo the circuit breaker and see if that's the problem, because I don't really have to worry about that outlet working till the summer when it's time to turn the pool on. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work if it's going to be a problem every time it rains. So I'm going out in the mornings and dumping a bucket of hot water onto the frozen bird bath to defrost it. That's what I'm doing right now because I'm nuts. Okay, so it was a quick bird update. Shop update. Retreat happenings. General registration for the retreat opened up. We had a great response. There are still spots open if you're thinking about coming. What I will say to you, if you are thinking about booking and you're hoping to stay at the hotel, we need to assess how many rooms we have blocked at the end of this month. So at the end of this month, if we haven't met 80% of our room block booking. If we haven't booked 80% of our room block, we possibly are going to adjust those numbers down. So if you have been on the fence or you're registered and you haven't booked your room yet, you may want to consider doing that soon, because at the end of January, I cannot promise that you will get the block pricing after that. And or if once the NFL releases the schedule for next year, like home and away games and like all that jazz, it's possible that the hotel may fill up. So it's close enough to Gillette Stadium where that could be an issue, or that the price will go very high. So that's where we are with the retreat. Shop update. I got a bunch of new things in the shop. So I've got, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 things here to show you. The thing that I'm most excited about right now, Heart and Hand's new releases. The 2023 Collector's Heart came out and I am in love with this. I am thinking it might be one of my starts for this year. And if it is, I'm going to stitch it as is, because it comes with the linen, it comes with the cottage garden threads. Except I will take the K and the P and I'll stitch them different colors, and I will change the year to the year me and my husband got married, and I'll make it a wedding sampler, because I don't have one and I don't want like a big elaborate. I just want like a little record. So I think that would be perfect. And I love the red. So that's new in the shop right now. Then there's the Winter White Whirligig. And you can finish these on the heart. I have some of these Heart and Hand bowls in the shop currently. It's very wintry. I like the dove. Oh, look at that wonky snowman. That is a wonky snowman. It actually looks like the little snowman my sister made yesterday. We had like this much snowfall yesterday, and it was enough for her to like scoop it on her like patio chair and turn it into like a little like foot tall snowman. Tweet hearts. Can you even? It's so cute. So cute. And then the last Heart and Hand new release is a reprint. Perfect Snowman. It says in search of the perfect snowman. There are buttons on here, and the buttons are not included in the chart. I have ordered the buttons, so there will be button packs in the future, probably within the next like week or so. All right, then I had a few Primrose Cottage, some new Primrose Cottage. Snow Place Like Home. Snowmen are so cute. I love this one. I don't know. I love after Christmas, after the holidays and the Valentine charts start. I don't really care about Valentine Day. Like, it's not a holiday I really pay attention to, but I love the Valentine charts. I love the pinks and the reds and the whites, and I love this chart. It's called Hey Sweetheart, and I love the colors. Love them. And then lastly, this one's called Loads of Love. If you're into the whole, oh, but look at the birds. I don't think I noticed those. Look at oh my, and there's birds here. All I noticed the first time was like the truck, but I like those birds. Ooh, speaking of birds, I got Happy Mail and I forgot to bring it over here, and it was like the best chart. Next time. And then lastly, I still have a few of the Primitive Hairs 2023 calendar. I just want to show you. Last year's calendar was good. This year's calendar is amazing. I want to be able to remember to point out the ones that okay, so that one. Do you see the hedgehog? I cannot. He's so cute. There was another one I really loved. I like that butterfly. Oh, I love this one. I love that one. And there's another one I really like. Oh, I liked the sheep. I really liked, I don't know what it is. like the bee. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, this was a great calendar. I haven't stitched any of last year's patterns, but I like to know that I have them, if that makes sense. I just like to know that they're there. The only one that I thought was a little bit odd was the October one. It says October up here, but the banner over the jack-o'-lantern says Queen. I don't understand why. I would put something different there. I might stitch Jack or Halloween or Samhain or something, but not Queen. Okay, that was it for shop updates. I'm gonna try to splice this video together, and here comes the heat, perfect timing. I hope to see you all next time. I'd like to say next week, but we all know that that doesn't always work with me. And in the meantime, I hope that you all stay safe and are healthy and are happy and are having a great start to your new year, and that you're getting lots of stitching in. Bye, everyone. Oh my goodness. So I knew this was gonna happen. I got all the way done. I said goodbye. I forgot to do the giveaway. I'm giving away 2023 Book of Days so that you too can keep track of your stitching. If you were interested in winning the Book of Days, it's a calendar. You must be 18. You must have filled out my Happy Mail form in the description box below. You have to be 18 to fill out the Happy Mail form because I'm collecting your address and I don't want to be a creeper. And don't use any of the giveaway words in your comment. What you are going to tell me, you're going to use the word, just use the word book. Let's just keep it simple. Use the word book. I will pick a winner for my next video. All right. Bye, everyone.